Guys, Griffin Time Machine Transport over here in Ogallala, Nebraska. Delivered in Denver Thursday, picked up Friday, going to Silvis, Illinois with these roofing shingles out of Denver. Anyways, just got done here at the TA over here. I know what the O in Ogallala stands for, old as shit, when it comes to this TA, man, the showers. But, I mean, hey, a shower's a shower, man. So it doesn't matter if it's old, new. I mean, who doesn't prefer, a newly remodeled shower, right? But down in Deming, New Mexico on I-10, there's a Indian truck stop there. They have cheap fuel. Deming, New Mexico, right on I-10. Anyways, that place was an absolute shithole. And when they bought it, they cleaned it up. The truck stop's nice, but they offer free showers. I don't know if they've done anything to them yet, but those are probably the worst showers I've ever seen at a truck stop. I think ever. Well, no, when we were in Iraq, we just had regular fucking plywood bathrooms, and they had these dung beetles all over the place. So I can't say the worst. Anyways, not the reason for the story, but my wife, hi baby girl, I love you. I used to call this place not Ogallala, Ogallala or something like that. My wife's like, no, baby, it's Ogallala, my bad. Ogallala. Well, the O in Ogallala stands for old as shit TA. So, anyways, I wanted to do the story about, I got time. I can't deliver on Monday. It's Saturday morning. So, just got out of the shirt. I feel good. So, my last video, I said I have two more driver stories. Let's do the one of Basement Bill. So Basement Bill, he's him and his wife I'll tell you what happened, but are friends of part of our crew that we hang out with. His name is Bill Damakasi, but the crew calls him Basement Bill because he's an odd fucking dude, man. He's an odd fucking cat. And so anyways, his wife, Basement Bill, his wife, I forget her name, pretty big girl, whatever. She seemed really nice, but I think she is still best friends with one of our crew's wives. And so we're at this place in Milwaukee called Dale Z's, and my wife and I are there, and a lot of the crew we hang out with, and this and that. So, I see this dude over there, and he's kind of like sitting by himself, neck's a little hunched. I mean, not thin, middleweight dude. I mean, not fat, not skinny. I guess he's just right. Just right. Anyways, just an odd dude. And we start to, I think one of my buddies, Chris, had introduced me to Basement Bill and said, hey, Bill, he drives semi too. And I was like, oh. I said, well, what do you do? He said he hauls coils out of Saukville, Wisconsin, going down to Indiana. And he delivers and goes back home. So he's home just about every night, I believe. He's like, aren't you looking to put a driver in that truck? I'm like, yeah, actually I am. So Bill's talking to me, and then he introduces me to his wife. I introduce them to my wife and all this stuff. And I told him, I said, that being long haul, or over the road, isn't like it's not even close to being a day cab driver or going home every weekend, which I hated when I drove for a guy. I hated going home on weekends because they were like working weekends. You got to do your laundry, you got to catch up on your rest. there's really that Friday, that Saturday and Sunday is just bullshit. You might as well be on the road. Go out for like I've been out now a little over 3 weeks. I think next Thursday will be 4 weeks. But anyways, I'd rather just go out 4-6 weeks, go home for a week, and then head back out. That hasn't been my schedule lately because of shit that had to be done on that truck. But anyways, I digress as usual. So Basement Bill says, yeah, he said his wife, I told him and his wife, I said, listen, we normally go out for, anywhere between 2 to, 5 or 6 weeks. I said, but more than likely it's like 3 to 5 weeks. And she's like, oh, I think I could do with that. Now this chick didn't work, and her older kids lived in their apartment with him and her. And I believe there was 2 of them. But anyways, I think one may have worked part-time, and the other one didn't work at all, and she didn't work. So he was Bill, Basement Bill was fronting all the bills. Was that a plug for Bill because he's paying bills? Anyways, so he's like, yeah. I said, well, I said I forget exactly what I was doing to the truck, but oh no, I think yeah, and I said because I wanted to go out with him on the road, drive teams, for like a month, because he said he had never been out west in the mountains. And it was during the winter time, so I'm like, yeah, you haven't been out there in the winter time either. So anyways, I'm like, I should probably go out there with you. He goes, yeah, I'd like that. I said, well, I'm going to be going out for a few weeks. I said, and then I'll be back, so I'll give you the heads up when I'm coming home. So when I get to the house, you have already quit your job. Gave him 2 weeks or whatever. And I had a mechanic that worked with us. He was the largest turd in the toilet, Christopher Edgerton. Big piece of shit. He was working at our shop. And so I remember Bill had contacted me and said, hey, when you coming back home? I had only been out for a few days. And I was like, I don't know, a couple weeks. Why? He goes, oh, I quit my job. I'm like, dude, another one? First, Tracy Laverne Leach quits his job, and now you quit your job without a fucking notice. It's like, dude, I mean, and I could feel that as being, an owner-operator or whatever. Somebody just quits me, I'm going to be kind of pissed. No 2-week notice, whatever. So I'm like, so he's like, I said, well, I feel bad because he quit his job because of, well, not because of us, but to come and drive with us. And so I was like, well, you could help Chris at the shop. I could pay you by the hour until I get home, which I was not cool with, but whatever. So anyways, so now fast forward 2 weeks is up, or however long I was out, get home, meet Bill and him at the or Bill and Chris at the shop. Put down my armrest, sorry. So I talking to Bill, whatever. Now he knows I'm a vet, but he doesn't know I'm a combat vet, right? Or served in a combat unit, whatever. He doesn't know about, what I did, whatever. So at the shop, he says, well, anyway, so the whole crew calls this guy Basement Bill. And he does look like a dude that would, like, what was the dude from Silence of the Lambs? Buffalo Bill or whatever it was. Anyways, he's a weird dude. Didn't look like the dude in Silence of the Lambs, but he was a weird dude. Like when he would talk to me in the truck, when he would laugh, and I know this may sound odd, but it's true. He, whenever he would laugh, it was like his whole facial expression would like change. Like he looked like Bill, but he looked like a different version of Bill. I don't know if that makes sense. Anyways, so Bill and I and Chris are talking at the shop, and I was like, oh, I said, you were in the military? He goes, yeah, I was in the Navy. I was like, oh. And my buddy Jay Moore, he did a stint in the Navy. I told him, I said, because Marines give airborne guys shit, this, that, whatever. I told Jay Moore, I'm like, I bet you your guys' PT was like a Broadway musical. You guys had your fucking shirts all tied up, like a half shirt. And so he was cracking up laughing. So I tried that with Bill, and he's like, I don't know if he just took it personal or whatever, but he's just kidding, just ribbing him, And he said, I said, what'd you do in the Navy? He said, well, he didn't really tell me he didn't tell me what his MOS was. He just said he went through BUDS twice. 2 times. He failed the first time, and he passed BUDS the second time. Well, if you don't know what BUDS is, that's part of SEAL training, right? Basic underwater demolition, I think it is. So I kind of looked at him like, are you a SEAL? Well, why, if you're not a SEAL, why would you take BUDS? That makes, I believe, I don't know anything about SEALs or BUDS or anything like that, but it's like, isn't that, like, aren't you a SEAL? I mean, I don't know, right? I mean, if you pass, wouldn't you continue on in SEAL training? So, anyways. So that got my bullshit radar up right away. And then he tells me he got out on a medical discharge. Well, I think there's dishonorable discharge, which you never want. That's like having a felony on your fucking record almost. I mean, not legally, but it's a bad thing if you get a dishonorable. Then there's a medical discharge, I think. I think there may be a general discharge, and then, of course, there's an honorable discharge, which that's what I have, and my brother Jason Gilbert and all the other guys we served with. So, but he said I believe he said he had a medical discharge. And I was like, oh, really? He said, yeah, he was shot with an AK round, an AK-47. And that's a big round. That's a 7.62 round. That's a big-ass round. And I didn't ask, because my bullshit radar is already up. And I'm like, dude, I mean, normally, well, first off, do you have a Purple Heart because you're injured in the military in a combat zone? And you're in the Navy. So you didn't say you're a SEAL. You didn't say you were not a SEAL. You said you failed BUDS the first time and you passed the second time. You got shot with an AK-47 round. I think he said up here, somewhere up in his upper body up here. And you got a medical discharge. So I'm like, all right, well, maybe he's over embellishing things, or a liar, or whatever. I found out Basin Bill, he was a fucking liar. So, anyways, so I don't tell him anything about going to Iraq, or I had a parachute malfunction. I didn't tell him any of that. I didn't tell him that I have a certain percentage of a disability from which I got. So I ETS in '92. I found out in 2009 that I could actually be compensated for, PTSD, parachute malfunction, all that stuff. So I didn't know anything about that because I had an honorable. I didn't. Who's going to play the system, right? So, anyways, now we fast forward. We get in the truck, and he's sitting in I'm in the pilot seat. He's in the shotgun seat. And my DAV, the guy who was handling my disability, because I went from 40% to 80%, and then 80 to 90, whatever. So I'm talking to him on the phone. His name's Sean, and so Basin Bill is next to me, and he's obviously listening to my conversation. Hang up with Sean. He's like, oh, you got PTSD? And I said, yeah. He goes, oh, you get a disability? I'm like, yeah. He said, yeah. He said, I got PTSD. And he says, I shot an 11-year-old kid with a suicide bomb. So my bullshit radar is already up on this guy, and I don't say anything, but the wheels are turning in my head, right? I'm saying, okay, you said you killed. Did I say shot? He killed a kid. He killed an 11-year-old kid, specifically an 11-year-old kid with a suicide bomb. So how do you know, first off, that the kid's 11 years old? Is he coming at you screaming, saying, I'm 11 years old, I'm 11 years old, I'm 11 years old? I mean, come on. So now my bullshit radar is really up. And so I don't get into it with him. I wanna like, I'm trying to reel this fucking dipshit in, right? So anyways, I'm talking a little bit about my stuff or whatever. And fast forward, we're on the week. And now, to this fucking day, I cannot listen to that Chris Stapleton song, which I love Chris Stapleton. I love all kinds of music, rap, hip hop, country, opera, all that kind of stuff. So, when his wife would call, which was all the time, nonstop in the truck. Well, not like what's nonstop, right? Hang up, nonstop, hang up, call. So that would be nonstop, right? So that's over embellishing. But she, and I'm not kidding, she must have called that dude, and whatever, man. I mean, whatever. My wife and I, we don't, she's a nurse. She has her own job. She's busy after work, and so on and so on. So she's not, she's not calling me every day, and nor would I mean, not every, we talk at night. For the most part, we'll text during the day. But his wife would call like 15, 20 times a day. Maybe 10 or 15 times a day. And that's realistic. And the ringtone on his phone was Tennessee Whiskey by Chris Stapleton. I heard that song so many fucking times. When it comes on my playlist, I hit it. I need to delete it from my playlist. It gives me like that cringe, right? Because I would hear him just talking, oh, well, we'll be home soon. We'll be home soon. And we'd only been out for like 3 days. And I'm like, whoa, man. So he would hang up, and because I'm not going to get into it with his wife, right? That's not my business. So I tell him, like, dude, you know, like, I had already said that we're going out like 4 weeks. He goes, yeah, I know, but she just really misses me and loves me. I'm like, dude, she needs to get a fucking job is what she needs to do. That's what she needs to do. I didn't tell him that. So, anyways, fast forward now. He would, the one thing I truly did like about Basement Bill is he drove under the speed limit, which I keep my truck at 65 now because I get great fuel mileage at 65. But it's open. I'm ungoverned, obviously. And if I have to, I can hammer down and get to wherever I really need to be if I need to be there. So that's one thing I really, really liked about Basement Bill is he drove under the speed limit. And he didn't talk on the phone when he was driving. I don't even know if he listened to music, but I think he did. But I remember when his wife would call, he'd say, oh, I'll call you later, I'm driving. So I did like that about him. I was like, oh, wow, right on. So I'm thinking, I could overlook, the over-embellishing or the lies, if you will. So my truck's a 13-speed, and I had told Bill, because he drove all either automatics or straight 10s. So I showed him how to drive it, or how to shift the 13-speed, and that he just couldn't get it. Even he grinded so many gears, like if you can't find it, grind it, right? He grinded so many gears. We were in Missouri, and my clutch was put in by Sapp Brothers years ago, and I don't know exactly what happened, but there was something, like it wouldn't go into it wouldn't go into high gears. I forget exactly what it was. Anyway, so I call Sap Brothers because they have one in Missouri where I forget exactly where. And we weren't that far from there. So we roll in. They're not, they close at 11, so we can't have the truck looked at till the next day. We do. Mechanic comes up. Fortunately, it was, I think it may have been covered under warranty. But my luck, probably not. And the mechanic's like, yeah, well, actually, it was covered under warranty because I remember the mechanic saying, yeah, it's covered under warranty, but I have never seen this, whatever had broke or cracked or it was something with the gears or something or so. I don't know jack shit about that stuff. So he said that he replaced it. He said, but I had never in all my years seen one of that or one of those. And I kind of looked over at Bill and I was like, this motherfucker, boy. He was saying like something about shifting. I'm like, well, I didn't want to bust Basement Bill out and be like, this knucklehead here, because then maybe it might not be covered under warranty, right? So I look at Bill, I'm like, really, dude? Come on, man. I mean, he is just straight jamming the gears, like, just try. I'm like, dude, stop. Please stop. Please stop. Please stop. And because he was trying to downshift coming out, coming in the off ramp, just whatever. So I'm like, well, maybe he's nervous because I'm in the truck with him, but I really need to kind of show him how to drive the mountains, all that kind of stuff. So anyways, fast forward. Wife's still calling. Tennessee whiskey. Tennessee whiskey. So, and that's exactly how it was, like nonstop, like that. Well, not nonstop. So anyways, when we were talking about, because we're in the truck together, and his wife keeps calling. She's crying. He's fucking crying. And so now I'm like, I got to get this dude home. There's no way I can put him in a truck. There's no fucking way. There's no way. So I'm trying to be cool. I'm trying to get us back to Wisconsin to get his ass out of the truck to make his fucking wife happy. And now she's controlling where we're going, right? I'm like, damn, that's not right? I mean, it's not right. So I'm pretty ticked off. I'm pretty pissed. So we end up in Baytown, Texas, at the TA there. I've been there a lot, and we're stuck for the weekend because I can't find something towards the Midwest. So because she's controlling where the fucking truck's going, right? So I'm just like, now I'm stuck here for the week. So I am not happy. So anyways, when I used to smoke cigarettes, I was sitting in the pilot seat having a cig, and he's talking to his wife, and he's crying. He goes, I don't know what to do, man. I'm coming, and I'm just like, this motherfucker. And I can hear her crying on the phone. I'm like, oh my god. So he's done, and he comes up. He sits in the shotgun seat, and he's crying. And he's like, I don't know what to do, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, really? I mean, at this point, we had not been out, like, even 2 weeks. I mean, I think we had only been out, like, a week, maybe 2 weeks. A week and a half, maybe. So, I'm just like, dude, he goes, I don't know what to tell her, blah, blah, and he's still crying. And I'm not judging him because he cries. I'm not. I cry. I mean, a real man cries, right? So, anyways, he's like, well, what? I said, well, maybe she should get a job, because he's telling about how he can't foot all the bills, and and this is when I found out about her 2 older sons living with them and not paying any fucking bills and all this stuff. Her not paying any bills because her ass don't work. All this stuff. He goes, I don't know. I said, tell her she's got to get a job, man. He's like, you think so? I'm like, yeah. So, anyways, not fucking 15 minutes later, she's calling fucking again, Tennessee whiskey. And he answers, talking to her, and then he starts crying. I can hear her fucking crying. I'm like, oh my god, you would think that somebody was deceased. Somebody actually fucking clipped themselves, right? So I'm like, Oh my God. So finally he's like, you're going to have to get a job. And he's just crying, bawling. Well, maybe not bawling, but he's crying. And again, like I said, I'm not judging him because he's crying. I'm judging him because he's fucking weak. And he's a liar. And he's got Tennessee whiskey on his fucking ringtone for his wife. And you ruined it for me for Tennessee whiskey. Thanks, Bill. So, anyways. Now he comes back up, lights up a cigarette, and he's crying. He goes, man, that was the hardest thing I ever had to do in my life. And I look, and I at this point, I've had it. And I'm like, but dude, you killed an 11-year-old kid with a suicide vest. He said absolutely fucking nothing and turned and looked right out the window and didn't say jack shit. I'm like, okay. So, fast forward. Now we're in New Mexico. And we're hauling these Actually, I got a backpedal. I think because we pick up trailers out of Fox Lake, Wisconsin, going to all these Home Depots, like in California, wherever, Arizona, and we had actually had those trailers on the trailer, and I remember seeing one of the straps was kind of loose. So we're in New Mexico. I remember that we're on I-80 I-40, and I pull over, I get off the off ramp, and then I get back. I'm starting to go on to the on ramp, and there's trucks parked there, so I can only really kind of go one area to pull over and tighten the strap. So it's kind of on an angle. So so I'm in the pilot seat, he's in the fucking shotgun seat, and we're coming up. He goes, "Where are you going to park?" I'm like, "I'm going to park right here, man." So I go up, and I don't want to be on the on ramp, so I pull off to the side, and the truck's like, it's on an angle. This dude is about shitting himself. Oh my god, dude, oh my god, you got to get off this. I'm like, dude, relax, dude. I'm not gonna tip this truck. So then I'm like, dude, you were in you went through Bud's class twice. Come on, man. No, you didn't. You're a fucking liar. So I didn't tell him that, but I'm thinking this, right? And so we get done with that, blah, blah, fast forward. And now we're talking about, I teach him. So we're in Utah at one of the times in our trip, and it's snowing pretty bad on I-15 up in the mountains. And he's like, man, holy shit. He said, even the winter out here is a different animal or something like that. I'm like, yeah, man, it's no joke out here in the West, man. Driving the mountains, the weather, all this kind of stuff. Anyways, we had on our way, I forget all the trip, obviously, it was years ago. On our way into Cali, we're on I-80 going through Donner's Pass. It calls for chains. If it calls for chains, I'm pulling over. I'm not going anywhere if I got to chain up. But I told him, like, have you ever chained up a truck? He's like, no. And so I'm like, well, now's the perfect time to find out if this dude's worth the shit. So I show him how to chain up. I'm not the best chainer. I did a video on it, and I got kind of ripped on, the chains being twisted or whatever. I told the guy, I said, I'm just trying to get the fuck out of here. I'm not trying to make it picture perfect. I said, but it worked, right? I don't like chaining up, man. I don't. It's not what I do. I'm not. If you have to drive, chains are meant just in case you're in an area and they call for chains and they're like, you got to chain up to get out of here. If I'm safe at a truck stop and somebody says this area's chaining up, I ain't going anywhere until they fucking release a chain, whatever law or whatever. So anyway, so I teach Bill how to chain up. And we go through Donner's, unchained. We get over to Eureka, California. And then we head back. And now it's calling for chain up going east on I-80 through Donner's. I'm like, well, more training for you. So we chained up. I think actually when we were going east, I think that's when I did the video. Anyways, he wasn't liking any of that. I wasn't either, but I mean, nobody ever... actually, anyways, it's not part of the story. So, anyways, so now we're sitting, and I'm really, that was earlier in the trip. So now we're trying to get home because his wife's telling us where we're going with the truck now. Tennessee whiskey. And so we're sitting there talking, and when I saw him with his shirt off because he was putting his shirt on, and I didn't see any scars where he supposedly got shot with an AK-47. And also, like, so he showed me, actually, no, I'm sorry, there was a scar, but it didn't, it looked like his collarbone maybe had been broken at one time, but when he turned around, I didn't see an exit wound. Now, you get shot up here, you get shot anywhere in your body with an AK, it's going in and out. I mean, it's going in and out. Well, he didn't have an exit wound, so I'm like, another fucking lie. So, now we're talking again, and not only is his wife controlling where our truck's going, not only is he a liar about what he did, not only is he fucking afraid of a little ass incline, he's afraid of everything. Whatever. I mean, doing what we do is not for everybody. It's not. And I'll tell you, there are some times that my asshole puckers too, right? So anyways, he starts telling me this story. My wife can actually verify this because right when he told me, baby, please put a comment in the comment section that this really did happen. As soon as he was done telling me this, because I'm sitting in the shotgun seat, he's in the pilot seat. As soon as he tells me this crazy fucking thing, I text my wife, I'm like, you are not going to believe what he just told me now, because I've been complaining about this dude ever since we've been out. And I remember after I told her, she sent me a picture of her face going, huh? So Basement Bill said him and his brother owned a bar in Florida, and he was there for a little while. Whatever. He showed me pictures of the bar that he supposedly owned. He said he was a great karaoke singer. He could play guitar. None of that was true. After our crew said that he's horrible. So he said when he left Florida because it was getting too dangerous. This comes from a fucking guy who failed buds the first time, passed the second time. He said he got shot with an AK because they were doing a convoy security detail or something like that. All right. So Tennessee whiskey. So he tells me when he's leaving, I believe they were leaving the bar, and his brother got in his vehicle, he got in his vehicle. Or he was about to get in his vehicle. He said goodbye to his brother, and a guy came running up, and he had a gun. And he yells at Bill, give me your fucking wallet. And Bill, because he's such a badass, he says, I'm not giving you my fucking wallet. He said the guy shit his pants, turned around, and ran away. I swear to God, you can't even make this up. Baby, please put a comment in there, because right when I told her, she was like, I was like, this dude is out there. So then I tell Bill, now I had it out with the guy finally. I'm like, dude, you're such a fucking liar, blah, 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 this and that. I told him, I said, I can't even have you in one of the trucks, man. I just can't. You're too much of a liability. Everything about you is trash. Absolute trash. And I told him, I said, and you're fucking, I said, so I laid it out to him about, hey, I'm 11 years old. I said that, and obviously the exit wound and him crying and just, and not just crying for the wrong reason, because your wife wants you fucking home. Oh my goodness. That's devastating. So I told him, I said, and your fucking bullshit ass story about the guy coming up to you in Florida with a gun saying he wants your wallet, and you said, I'm not giving you my fucking wallet, and he shit his pants and ran away. I'm like, dude, how do you know he shit his pants? Did he pucker up and be like, oh my God, I just shit myself? Or did he say, or did you smell it? Like, come on. I mean, I've shit my pants before, and it's not something that you would immediately smell, I guess. I don't know. But I'm like, how did he Did he pucker? Oh, I just shit my pants. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, what? You're a liar, dude. You're a fucking liar. Anyways, so we get back. Oh, and I was pissed off because we had a Dodge Dually, and when he was working at the shop, their Expedition broke down. They didn't have the money to fix it, so I let him use the Dodge Dually we had. Gave it to him with a full tank. Returned it with no fuel in it. I'm just like, dude, you fucking piece of shit. And anyway, so Basement Bill, he had a nice Harley that his wife financed for him. So him and her would go, and she's a pretty big girl. I was surprised that her and him fit on that bike. But they were like part of a motorcycle group, and like a motorcycle gang. I don't know what liars, fucking renegades, or the renegade liars. I don't know. So him and her are now divorced, or have been divorced, is what I hear. So their motorcycle club, motorcycle gang, he was sending dick pics to the other gang members' wives. And his wife caught him. So there goes Harley, bye-bye. There goes your marriage, bye-bye. And I've never seen Basement Bill again. It's not, the Basement Bill story is not as great as the last one, and it's not nearly as good as the Chris Kidder or the Christopher Kidder story I'm going to tell you next. Anyways, I got to get on down the road. I already thumped my tires, and I just figured I'd reach out to you guys because I told you about Basement Bill. Just a weird fucking dude. But anyways, if you are robbing somebody, don't hold out a gun and shit yourself and run away. So anyways, please have yourself a great weekend. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Ciao.